What's going on, guys? It's the One Round Ryko, and today we are here with the next wave of the Gundam Universe line, this time leading with Shenlong Gundam. This is the first one I've gotten of the wave so far. I actually got this one from Big Bad Toy Store. They alerted me a couple days ago, about maybe a week ago now, because I got them Monday, I think, is when the package came in. So about the end of last week, I got a notification that he's ready to go. Hey, your payment's been taken. Here's your guy. No word on Master Gundam and Sazabi yet from what I've seen. This is the only one of the line that has come through. So I don't know if they're going to be showing up in stores soon. My guess, they probably won't be showing up in my local stores, because my local stores still don't have the previous wave of Heavy Arms, Freedom Gundam, and Exia. So, pardon me. So, who knows when this is going to show up in person, but I have him and then Master Gundam pre-ordered, and then Sazabi. So I'll get into Sazabi later. That one's like 40 bucks, a little bit more expensive, so we'll talk about that more when we get into it. But let's start with what's here first. Let's go with the box. I always like the art they do on these. I'll show you the front first. Got a nice dramatic art with the Dragon Fang out and ready on the other side. And he's GU20 XXXG01S. And it just says Shenlong Gundam on the side. The product render, and then of course the back, showing him with his beam glaive, showing the articulation, how the arm works, just talking about Gundam. Of course, another product shot, which I like that pose a lot. And then down here, Shenlong Gundam. From New Mobile Suit Report Gundam Wing, 1995. One of the 5 Gundams developed as part of the Space Colony's Operation Meteor against Oz. Developed by Master O for close-range combat, its beam glaive and arm-mounted Dragon Fang flamethrowers laid waste to the Oz fortress. Pilot Shang Wufei affectionately calls it the Nagataku. Nataku? Something like that? Again, I only speak English, and I won't say I'm good at that either, so. But, of course, from Gundam Wing, one of my favorite suits because I love dragons, and I love the way it looks. I mean, just look at them. Yeah. And I think the only other, dragon-themed Gundam actually has, dragon stuff in it. I forget the name of it. Or I don't know if it's just called Dragon Gundam, or maybe it's, Shogun Gundam. It's the one from G Gundam. Same thing that Burning/God Gundam is from. Had both of its arms were just dragon heads. I do not remember the name of it, but I'd love to have that one in this line, just so I have a cool Gundam. Because the only other pair we have, or I guess friend, which isn't really a friend, for God Gundam right now is Master Gundam, which hopefully I'll get here relatively soon so I can throw up the review for that. But let's get into the figure himself now. As you can see, I have him displayed. All he comes with here. He comes with the beam glaive, his shield. The Dragon Fang is already attached to his arm because it's just his arm. And then he has a little backpack on the back, of course, that just slots right on. These things are actually maneuverable. I know some of the figures aren't, but these ones are. I actually pop them both out by accident because they're on little ball joints, but you can wiggle them around. But let's pose them straight up. Put his arm down for a second, and we can just look at him head on. So far from what I've seen I like how kind of bulky his chest is. He looks, when I pulled him out, I was like, oh, he looks thick, just bulky, kind of barrel-chested, if you will. Kind of a little, to me, looks a little bit more thick in the chest than a lot of the other ones from this line, which I don't mind. And it kind of goes with the almost samurai / shogun-y armor that he's wearing. I like that, especially when it comes to the skirt or whatever. He doesn't look too skinny. His legs are nice and thick. The only thing that obviously looks skinny is his strong arm over here, which we'll get to. But a nice turnaround with the figure. The colors pop. Of course, the back isn't as detailed as the front, but I mean, for 25 bucks, I don't really care that much. And it doesn't look bad either. It's not like a lack of paint. I guess I would like those to be painted, but whatever. If I really wanted to, I can take just a green marker and deal with it myself. But the typical articulation as well. A nice ankle. You can kind of really get deep in there. Kind of squeaky, but I think that was just kind of tight. Nice kick. Of course, as always with any of these, the skirt kind of gets in the way with the leg poses. You can't really do a full splits either. You can kind of on the side, you can almost get 90, but like I said, going straight front and back, you're not going to. And there's very few Gundams that I'd want to be able to do that. Maybe Master / God Gundam, because they're more straight up just fisticuff robots, and it makes more sense for something like that to be able to do that. But I'm not too upset about this particular one not being able to do that. And of course, let's get his beam glaive out of his hand real quick. It's nice and painted, obviously not translucent, very similar to the previous green beams we've gotten, like with, whoop, I'm dropping paper, similar to what we got with Death Scythe. His is a lighter green though. This one is more of a solid, like, emerald greenish, kind of just the way it looks. I'd say about emerald or so. You know, apparently I don't know what the color emerald looks like, but you know what I mean. A darker green, maybe foresty, what have you, more so than the light green of Death Scythe. And I don't believe any others have that. Any other beam scythe or beam weapons we have the traditional pink, which is kind of wish we would. We've got I wish we would have like a green one so far, because of course green is the one that goes with Wing, I believe, and a few others. I would like them to have the green ones instead of just the pink ones, or just have a beam saber in general, because some of them have the little beam handles but no beam saber. I guess because you're supposed to steal them from other ones, but whatever. Overall, it's very similar to the Scythe and Death Scythe, just a gray plastic. This comes off. It was off in the package. You just slot it on like that, and ta-da. Just be careful with it. It is kind of flimsy, so you could easily just snap it if you're not careful. So be careful. And it's thicker up at the top here. He keeps trying to focus on stuff. I think it's the Eevee face. It's thicker up here at the top, so that's where you want to grab it. It's looser down here, so you can kind of have him gripping here. And you can have him double-handed, as shown in the product shots, but I just had him holding it in the one hand. Then, of course, the shield will just pop off, like I said. Like the other Gundams, it just pops off, and you can just slot it right back on there. Pretty cool. Nothing crazy. Not super crazy detailed, but I mean, I guess it doesn't really have to be. Like I said, it just slots right back onto his arm. Or maybe it does go a certain way. Now I'm just dumb. There we go. Back onto him. And then, of course, his special thing here. Because all of them kind of have their thing. Like, New Gundam back here has kind of his fin funnels and what have you. They try to keep their traditional, like not traditional, but like their special thing if they have one. Kind of like how Freedom Gundam, his wings fold out into guns. He's got the hip rail guns and all that. He has his Dragon Fang flamethrower, which folds back normally. So to put it back how it would be, kind of just fold it in like that. And it hides decently up there. It doesn't really stick out as much. And you can, once you get it back, I think I gotta kind of go a bit higher and then in there. So now you have his regular arm. It does have the pivot down here still. Same thing with the other arm, of course. It's got still the traditional, like, oh, his hip, it came out. Oh, these are actually just like slotted in there, so that makes it easier. So they much less break prone, I guess. They just pop out. That's nice. But yeah, it does have a pivot up here, so you can have that when he's regular, you know, just has his fist, or when he has the Dragon Fang activated. It's got the double jointed, but again, he's very pointy and angular, like a lot of these, so sometimes it gets a little bit hindered. Oh well. And the bottom tooth and the head kind of folds out. One thing I did notice when looking at the product shot is that the actual eyes on the Dragon Fang are not painted. I believe they're supposed to be, yeah, it's supposed to be a green, like matching the rest of it. So that's a one little thing that I'm like, oh, I kind of wish that could have been done, you know, like it's technically on the front, and it's, was it in the product shots? No, so not even the product shots showed it painted, so that's a one little thing, that's a little bit of a nitpick. I would have liked the eyes on the Dragon Fang to be painted, but I guess that's something easy I can do. I can get somebody I know, or just get one of those Gundam markers and get it as close to this green as I can, and just kind of, you know, scrub in there. It would stick out more and not be as harsh with the light if it had that on there, but that's my only real complaint with that. I don't think there's really any other paint that was really missing off that, because the rest of it is just white. Maybe something on the little flamethrowers right there themselves to have them stick out, because like in the product shot, there's a little bit of like brownish red there, showing like they've been used to shoot fire. Maybe they're warm or just dirty from use. But again, these are like factory clean Gundam. They're not the same as like the ones from the show that are used and they have that battle damage on there. I do like how that's articulated though, and of course the top fangs are too, so they're kind of out of your way back here, and you can hold them up if you want. But it holds up pretty nice, like other than the lack of the eyes, it's really cool. And then like I said, it just, you can see the whole joint in there, still attached to the shoulder pretty well. You can still wheel it around or spin it. This one's a little bit tighter, I think just because of how it is, how it's lined up. But you can even get above the actual, like, these pointy shoulder pieces. And, oh, that's nose right there. There's a little bit of, like, damage or something. I guess that came like that. Maybe looks like more like a mold error. Mold error. It's a little annoying. Maybe I'll send for a replacement or something, or maybe I'll just try to find another one if I can. I don't know. That is a little annoying, but that's not necessarily the figure itself. That's just, you know, how it happens sometimes. So I'll see if anyone else has issues like that, but I might just contact Big Bad Toy Store or something and see if I can just get a replacement of it, see if that is a thing. But otherwise, it folds pretty well. It's swiveled on both sides. You can swivel up here, and you can, and like I showed earlier, you can swivel the actual like arm part of it separately. So you can swivel it that way and that way, so you can get that like bite back pose, or get it forward, or have it as like a second head up here if you really want to, just like a little arm friend. There you go. Just, you know, yeah, a little bitey snake. But that's really cool for its gimmick, and I think they implemented it pretty decently too. It does kind of look weird that his arms kind of folded up in there, but somewhere had to be, you know, sacrificed for it. And you can see he's missing a hand here. It comes with that in the box. It comes with 2 fist hands. They're right here. 2 closed fist hands for each side. Then it has the weapon holding hands. The left hand, pardon me, is a regular fisting hand, a regular grip fist hand, whereas the right one, of course, is the trigger finger hand, which is weird for a Gundam that doesn't really have a gun, but all the right hands of the Gundam Universe line are trigger finger hands. I don't know why they can't just mold one that's not a trigger finger. I guess it doesn't really make a difference because it still holds the weapons the same, but it's like, you know, you just give me a different hand. Like, he doesn't have a gun, so why would he have his hand out like that? I don't, you know, what do I know? I'm just a guy who buys toys. But overall, other than that little scuff right there, because that's like a factory error, if anything. That's not really the figure's fault. And the lack of paint here, which I will be like, that's kind of lame. I kind of wish that would have been painted. I know there's a cheaper line, and they're just meant to be like entry for more, I guess more for like a younger audience too, so they can play with these, get introduced to Gundam, but not like have to figure out how to make a model kit if they're, you know, not sure how, or, you know, risk of breaking a model kit by sitting around and playing with it too much. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play with Daddy's model kits, and now I wonder why I'm an orphan. There's been videos going around like the Gundam Collective or what have you, showing like kids getting into their parents' model kit things and messing them up, and oh my god. Another reason why I'm glad I don't have kids yet, because I don't have a son, if that happens. But overall, I think it's a solid figure. Again, other than that and the lack of paint right there, I think overall it's fine. I don't think it's supposed to even have paint on this side too. But here, it doesn't really bother me as much. It's mainly that the design is for it to kind of have eyes to resemble a dragon, because it's got like the horns here or whatever. It would have been nice to have that paint, but oh well. And then as for some comparisons real quick, we have the event exclusive Super Saiyan 2 Goku. They stand about similar height and same scale. I have Goku kind of squatted down, but they're about the same size. Then of course, with the Lightning Collection, here is the Wolf Ranger, same deal. They stand about the same, they look good together. These two particularly, yeah. And then, for sake of ease, I'm going to call Mr. Easy 8 over just to show him another figure of the same line. They go and scale pretty well together. I know technically that's an issue because some suits are significantly bigger than others when it comes to in actuality, but keeping them all on the same scale like this, I don't really mind. You can have some fun with it for sure. Even though I think like Unicorn Gundam is supposed to be like huge or something. Like there's some other Gundams that are meant to be they're just significantly bigger than the others, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. And he will be joining my see if I can show it a little bit. My wing shelf. Freedom Gundam here is going to probably have to move somewhere else, even though I love where he is right there. I want to keep that mainly the wing shelf, and then this little white Zaku I have just chilling over there. But as for the rest of the wave, I'll show here, they have a nice little pamphlet. Show Master Gundam. I don't know when he's supposed to show up, but hopefully it's fairly soon. And then Sazabi will probably show up about the same time later. Sazabi, as you can see, is the most expensive of the line so far because he's $40. He's bigger, which in that case they're actually following the, let's do it more accurately to go with Mr. New Gundam, V Gundam, whatever you want to call him back there in the corner. So he's actually going to be pretty big and have a nice selection with it. And of course, you see the rest of the line down here. They don't show the Target exclusives front, I've noticed. Like I took the one from Exia that I just did a little while ago. And over here, it still shows like Strike Rugi over here. And then of course, not Exia Trans Am. But over here, they don't even show that Strike Rugi, or Rouge, I assume is what it's actually called. Not Rogue, it's Rouge. Not over here at all. So I don't know, it's almost like they're just trying to kind of hide them, but I don't know. And then of course it just shows you can order stuff off Premium Bandai, all their different kinds of lines. I like my favorite line, the Middle Robot Spirits. Middle Build Solitude is kind of expensive and all that. But overall, really solid figure. I like how he looks. He looks good. It's nice to add another one to the wing line, so you can have, I think that's about almost all of them, if not all of them from Wing that we'd really need, at least the main suits that matter. Of course, there's the potential other variants, like the Endless Wing variants. Like we already have Endless Wing 0 because, you know, that's like the most popular. They could do Death Sight Hell, Heavy Wing, that'd be cool. Heavy Arm Custom, I think the bluer one with the double Gatling on both arms, I believe that's that one, etc., etc. They could do those as well, which I'd love, but we already know what the next wave after this one is, and none of those are in there, but, you know, whatever. I think one of them is technically a wing, but it's almost like a grunt suit, I think. But overall, I feel like the figure, I definitely recommend it. Hopefully yours doesn't have that little scratch up there. I think it's just a minor thing. I might look into it. I might not. Who cares? But if you like what you see, leave a like down below. Subscribe for more content like this. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and figure reviews sprinkled in between, even though I'm seemingly doing more figure reviews than cards. We'll see about that. Anyway, I've been the one, Rowland Raiko, and I'll see you guys next time.